Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for another Nimble training webinar. My name is Michaela Underdahl. I'm the marketing lead here at Nimble, and today I will help you dive into the segmentation feature in Nimble. We'll cover group messaging and also how to create and use custom fields in Nimble. Before we get started, I want to spend a few minutes talking about what Nimble is and the promise of the product. So Nimble is an easy to use, easy to implement, and pretty intuitive CRM. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management Tool. And we like to say that one of the things how Nimble differ from other CRMs on the market is that we put the R into the CRM and we put emphasis on the relationship. So when you connect everything to Nimble, and we work with both Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, allowing you to import your contacts, connect your emails, and also sync your calendars. Then you open up a contact record of your prospect or your customer, and it's very robust. So you know exactly who the person is, what they're all about, what their company is all about, what they do, how they got to you, who's taken care of them in your company, everything that has been talked to them about, any notes, any next steps, and also who is responsible on your team for the next steps with them. So the robust contact record is one of our ways to really make Nimble the CRM that you can use to rely on to easily find the most important information about your prospects and customers. And we also allow you to not only use it in the main app on the web, but also in other places where you're used to working. So we created extensions that work in both Outlook and Gmail, so you can use Nimble outside of Nimble. We also have plugins for all the main browsers, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and also Microsoft Edge. And this, again, allows you to use Nimble from the places where you're used to working. So you don't have to interrupt your workflow to go log information and the next steps with prospects and customers, but you can just bring up Nimble when you want it and in the place where you want it, so you don't have to open a new tab, type in the password, and then log the information manually. So we also have Nimble available on both iOS and Android mobile devices. So if you haven't checked them out, do so. There's most of the features that you can use on the web app, you can use on your email mobile devices, like email tracking, templated emails, of course, login of all the informations. And another good feature that you can use on mobile is the fact that when you dial somebody from the Nimble mobile app, after that phone is done, Nimble will display a pop-up message that will prompt you to log the next step. So we ask you, what was there anything interesting about this meeting, about this call that you would like to add to Nimble? So we're trying to help you to log the next steps to make sure that you are never forgetting about what has been done with the most important contacts in your network. So with that, let's go into Nimble. And today, we are all about segmentation, group messaging, and custom fields. So I'm going to start with the segmentation and talk a little more about this whole contacts view. We continue to add little features, so I just want to make sure that everybody knows the full capability of this view. So Nimble is a context database at its heart. So once you start adding context into Nimble, they will all show up here. So on the left side, and one thing to know is that you can actually collapse this view and expand it when you want it. So once you create your search and then you just want to work with your context, you don't have to get distracted by that. You can always get rid of it. But when you're just opening it up and you're deciding what to do next, on the left side, you can easily go and review all your contacts. You can also go directly to people, companies, and those contacts you have previously marked as important. So as you can see, you see these little stars next to everybody's name. This allows you to create a quick VIP list of the most important contacts in your network. So then you can quickly jump into this list and only focus on the people that you marked as important before. Sometimes we are adding a bunch of contacts from various different places. Maybe it's a CSV file import. Maybe we are using the browser extension, adding prospects from LinkedIn. Then we go back to the platform and we kind of know who we want to start working on or with, but we can quite remember the name. So this can be one use case when this recently viewed tab can be utilized. You can quickly see all the contacts that have been recently added by you or your team members. Recently added, my bad. And in recently viewed, of course, you will see those that you have recently reviewed and you clicked on their names inside of Nimble. Those that have been recently contacted will be here as well. So this can help you to make sure that if you haven't had a chance to log your next steps and add notes right after the call, sometimes we have busy days, we're jumping from a call to call. So you can use this view to go through all the people you have recently contacted and then make sure that you add the meeting notes onto them later or set up the next steps. Stay in touch feature. I always say that it's a small but mighty feature. As our networks grow, it becomes almost impossible to stay top of mind with all the people in it. So this stay in touch feature allows you to decide how you want Nimble to notify you when it's time to follow up with them. It can be on weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annual basis, or you can set up custom reminders with each of your contacts. So another great way how to make sure you're staying top of mind with everybody. Removed contacts. So once you delete contacts from Nimble, sometimes we do it by mistake. So this is a way how you can recover them, and the administrator of your Nimble account can go into settings and set the number of days that these contacts will actually stay inside of the this folder, and then you can take care of all of them and delete them permanently, or you can restore them. Every time you are selecting contacts inside of Nimble, make sure that you are selecting those that you want. So if you want to select all of them, you have to tell Nimble to do so, and then it will select all of them in here. And then we get into segments. So when I go back to all contacts, I mentioned our segmentation feature. The way it works is that you can basically create searches based on any fields that already exist in Nimble, and also any fields that somebody on your team or yourself may have created as custom fields. So custom fields can be used to capture information about your contacts that is specific to what you do with them. Maybe it's the size of their company, their industry, or the points of contacts, or what is it that they purchase from you and when. And it can be capturing information about leads. So if they come to you from a web form or somewhere, maybe you want to note it as such in Nimble. So how did they get to you? Did they come from some sort of a referral source? If so, you can even create drop-down menus and set up the referral sources if you just have a few, or you can leave it as a blank text field and just fill into the blanks every time somebody refers somebody to you. Or for you can use custom fields for marketing or public relations, influencer marketing purposes, and capture information about external people. Let's say you are building relationships with investors or influencers. You want to capture specific information about them. With investors, it could be information like what type of investments they're looking for. Are they an angel investor, or maybe any specific information about them? Or in case of public relations or influencer marketing, you might be capturing the type of platform these people operate on. So are they a blogger? Are they a YouTuber? Are they a TikTok star? And then if so, do you want to provide a link to that platform? Or do they have a podcast? Have they interviewed somebody from your team on the podcast? If so, you can create a custom field for the specific URL. So I will show you how to create these fields in a little bit, but these are some of the examples of the custom fields you can search your database on, and you can also add it to your searches that you're using to search by the regular fields that already exist in Nimble. So you can further refine the searches by any custom fields. So when you click here, you will see that you can easily add a filter, and this will pop up the entire list of all the fields that exist in Nimble, including custom fields. So you can also use any of these quick filters. These are just some of the filters that our customers use the most to search Nimble with. So I'm going to select a tag. So some of the easiest way to organize your contacts is to tag them. Tags are going to be static, and you will have to manually apply them to the contact record that you want. So let's say you are importing contacts to Nimble, or you have added them previously and you want to group them. So you could apply a tag called client. So as you can see, I have 35 clients currently, and if that is enough, I could decide what to do with this list. Or if I want to further slice it down by any other criteria, I can select and the plus button here, and I could do, let's say, an address. Maybe I want to see how many customers I actually have in New Jersey. So this way, it's only Alice, and I already mentioned that tags are one easy, probably the easiest way to group contacts and organize them in Nimble. You can also create saved segments or saved searches. So if I know that I want to be focusing on the state of New Jersey, and I will continue to see more business there, maybe I want to create a quick segment here. So I could name it this way and save it. And from now on, this segment will be dynamic, meaning every time a new contact gets added to Nimble and I tag them with the tag client and they happen to be in the state of New Jersey, they will be automatically added here. So you can definitely create any safe segments for any of your searches and then mark those that are important to you as important, and it will bring them up in the list. They will by default only appear in your instance of Nimble, but you can click on this unlock sign and then share it with your entire team. So then it will also display on your coworkers' Nimble instances. So that's one example of how you can use the segmentation, but there's many more. So I can start from scratch, and then I can also search by organization. So I also see a full list of all the companies I have in Nimble. So I could basically pull up all the people I have associated with this specific organization and then further refine the search by maybe I could say email. Do I have emails for these people? So email is not empty. In this case, there's only one person and I happen to have the email for them, but the email is not empty, can actually be used to clean your database. And we get this question a lot. How do I clean up my database after I've used Nimble for a while with my coworkers, or maybe we didn't really have a plan when we were getting started and we just ended up with a bunch of unnecessary contacts. So you can go to all contacts, click segment search, and do email is not empty. And let's say phone is not empty. And this will start showing you the contacts that you have the important information you usually need, like the email or phone, and you can continue adding other criteria. So referral source, empty, or last contacted by me or my team. So let's see, I'm going to do by me, any date. So once I get to people that I basically don't have any information like that about, I can delete them. So in this example, it's actually showing me all the important people. So then I would probably not delete them, but I would maybe tag them as such. And then you can either create the search with phone is empty, last contacted is empty, email is empty, or you can use the tag that you just created and then run a search that would basically create a tag, let's say client, and we would say tag is not, and you could exclude it. So then you would come up with the search you want, and then you can always select the people that you want, making sure that you are really selecting everybody. So in this case, I would select everybody in the group, and I can take next actions with them. So we were talking about deleting. So I could delete them this way. Again, they would go into the removed folder. So if I want to take care of it immediately, make sure I delete them permanently, I could go in there and do so. Also, if you are trying to do this and you don't see the option to delete contacts, it's very likely that the administrator hasn't given you the permission to do so. This is something that is distributed account wise by administrators. So if you feel like you should have the ability to do so, you can ping them and ask to get the permission added. That's a precaution that a lot of our customers take, that they just don't allow everybody to bulk export or bulk delete to protect their database, basically. Other bulk actions you can take is that you can mark everybody as important. You can apply a tag that we already covered. You can set up the stay in touch reminder. So if these are all your important contacts, you can maybe set up a monthly stay in touch reminder with them. And under actions, you will see other options. You can change the owner and then assign everybody to yourself or somebody else on your team and assign these contacts to them. You can change the privacy, and you can create privacy groups, or you can mark certain contacts as private to just you, or you can allow team members to view them but not make any changes. Exporting, so if you want to export into CSV file, you can do so. Again, this is something that may be available to you if your administrator has given you the permission. And we're getting to group messaging in Nimble. So once you select a group of contacts that you would like to contact, you can contact them via group messaging in Nimble. The way group messaging works in Nimble is that the emails are being sent as individual emails from the emails that you connected to Nimble. So they are not being sent from our servers, they are being sent from, let's say, your Outlook that you connected to Nimble. If you connected multiple email addresses, you can select from which one you want it to go to. So it was designed to work in conjunction with the segmentation. The segmentation is supposed to help you create such groups that you can tailor the message to in a way that to them it will look like you took the time to send them a one-on-one Gmail or one-on-one Outlook message. So again, it will be sent as individual emails from your Outlook or your Gmail that you connected to Nimble. So when you go to your sent folder in your email, you will see individual emails that were sent out to these people. But to them, it will look like it was a one-on-one message. They will not know they were a part of group outreach. So it's a way to reach out to people in the personal way, but also at scale. So it's not designed to blast people with a newsletter. It's more to help you save time on retyping the same message or the similar message. So let's say I'm going to be in San Antonio for a conference next month, and I would like to reach out to all the contacts that I know are going there, live in the area, and I want to invite them to meet with me in person. So I could create a message and say, hi, and have Nimble basically add their first name to personalize it for you. And I can say, it's been too long, excited to travel again. I'm going to be in San Antonio. Is there any way you might be available to meet somewhere outdoors safely? Whatever. If so, here's my Calendly link, or respond and let me know your availability, and then you can send it. Before you send it, we also give you the option to send yourself a test message to make sure that everything looks good, no typos. If you include a link, that the link works. If you include an attachment, that the attachment has been attached and it looks good, and so on. If you feel like whatever you type seems like a good thing that you might want to reuse in the future, you can save it as a template. You can also select from existing templates and just pop it in. If there's anything that you want to change, you can do so and make any last minute changes. As you can see, my signature is being attached automatically, and you can do so in settings. You should be able to copy and paste, and then it will be automatically attached to any of the emails you are sending from the Nimble app, from the Nimble mobile app, the extensions that are on your browser, and also your inbox extensions. When you're ready to send, also make sure that these columns seem right. So sometimes, you selected a group of people, maybe you also selected companies in there that you didn't have emails for them. So in errors, you will see all the people that you don't have emails for, and maybe that's fine. But in case you definitely want to reach them, you don't have the email, maybe you have it somewhere else, you can go and either edit manually, copy and paste it from somewhere, edit, and then it will be saved to the contact record, and they will automatically move into the recipients folder. In case you don't know the email, you also have the option to use our contact enrichment feature and use one of your contact enrichment credits to find the information. So as long as you know the first name, last name, and the company the person works for, we'll be able to find the information about them. So we'll also let you know how confident we are that it's in fact correct. And sometimes we will tell you that we haven't been able to verify it. In that case, it will not use the credit. So the contact discovery feature, we give you 25 credits to try it when you first sign up, and then after that it's an add-on feature. So you will be able to purchase 100 credits for additional $10 per month to your account, and then for each lookup will be 1 credit. So once this looks right, you can send it out. Once you send it out, we will give you a report on how the send has done. So you'll see how many people you sent it to, how many people opened, how many people clicked, didn't read. If it failed, sometimes it bounces, so you can try to find a new email and so on. If anybody unsubscribe, we do give you the option to add an unsubscribe link. Depends on the way you are using the group messaging. You can of course use it for saving sales pitches or PR pitches as well. So you might want to consider adding the unsubscribe link there. And then we'll show you when was the last time people opened, if they opened, how many times, and if they clicked, how many times. So you can use this to follow up with people and kind of gauge their interest. So if they open 5 times, but they haven't responded, maybe you can try to give them a call, send them another email to get it on top of their inbox, just to make sure that maybe they just haven't had a chance yet to get back to you. So that's how the group messaging works inside of Nimble. And now I would like to talk a little more about how custom fields work in Nimble. So we talked about it a little bit regarding segmentation, that you can segment on them, but when you create them, what does it look like and where do you create it and how? So when you're on the contact record in Nimble, next to interactions, there's a tab called data fields. You can create additional tabs here and name them whatever makes sense to you, depending on your use case. So it can be called additional information, depending on the role you play in your company. If you're using Nimble just for yourself, it doesn't really matter. But for companies using it with multiple employees, maybe each department will have their own tab. Or you create one additional tab and then these individual groups will be for individual departments. That's completely up to you. And it can be used to add any specific information about your contacts. So I can add areas of interest. So this is a real estate example. So I'm going to add residential, client type, it's a buyer. I can also add, like I said, any specific information. So if you're working with a seller and it's an active listing, you can also add the MLS number here and any additional information. So completely depends on how you design this, and fields can be text fields, they can be address fields, they can be drop-down menus like we showed here. You can add links on there and so on. So this is what it looks like on the front end. And now when we go to settings in Nimble, you can either go to settings and find it from the menu there, or we can take you directly into data fields. So this is what it looks like on the back end. And the one that we just reviewed looks like this. So I have these groups created. I can expand on them so you can see it. And if you're starting from scratch, we can click here, add new tab, and I will name it, let's say, programs. I want it to display on both people and company contact records. And then it's been created here. And I want to, because these are different programs that I'm running within our company, I'm going to create a group for each of them. So the first program will be our partner program. I'll create it and I want to add a field to this group. So I'll edit under there. And this is how I can select the type of the field. So it can be a short text, long text. Long text can be for when you know you'll be adding a several paragraph, for instance. It can be a select box or true false flag. You can add a user field, a date field, address field, or it can be a number. So for this type, I'm going to name the field name as partner type, and it's going to be a select box. So then I'll add the value here, and first will be direct, it will be referral partner, and I'll have, let's say, Microsoft partner, and I'll create it. And then another field can be, let's say, industry. And here I can, again, if there's several industries I work with, I can create a select box, or it can be a short text and I can just use it to fill it when I know. Okay, so in this case, I already have that the type, the field already exists in Nimble. So I'm going to change it slightly. So this can be an example for a partner program. Another example, and I'm going to create a new group. So another program that we run internally is the influencer program. And here, once I create the group, I can create fields, and one of the fields can be podcast. And I'll do select box, add value, and it can be yes, no. So when we identify an influencer, I want to know, do they have a podcast? And if so, I can also add the podcast URL. And then when I review the person's contact record inside of Nimble, I can go directly onto their podcast URL, wherever it might be, on their website or Spotify, and kind of get familiar with what is it they're talking about. Maybe they will be a good fit for somebody else on our team to be interviewed on their podcast. So, and this can be select box, for instance, yes, no. Another group can be public relations. And here, you can also track the relationships with journalists. So maybe you reached out to them, or randomly you found out that they mentioned you in an article. So you want to store everything in one place. Maybe you're really trying to stay away from spreadsheets. So you can do publication name. It can be a short text. Another field can be topics. So if you're pitching people, maybe you want to do the research once and then have it stored in Nimble, so they cover CRM, technology, investments, and so on. So this will, or mobile apps, so you can specify in here. Another field can be covered Nimble, and can be yes, no. Create field, and then let's say there are some people that maybe cover you more than once, so you can create as many fields as you want, and then just have that basically filled in onto the contact profile, so you know all the information about people is in one place. In Nimble, it's the one source of truth in your organization that you can rely on. If you want to make any changes, as I just showed you, you can drag and drop here and make any changes. The only problem with changing things is once this is live and you start filling the information in here, then you can delete it, you can change the name, but in order to delete it completely, you would have to delete the individual values. So that's to protect you from basically, or somebody else in your organization, to delete in information that somebody else is using. So that's the back end of it. So let's go back and then review what it looks like on the front end when we set this up. So it will be under data fields, and I created a tab called programs, and this is what it looks like. So I can add the publication name, and maybe it will be Forbes. Topics can be CRM, mobile, covered Nimble, yes, and I can add the articles. So then let's say you are on Forbes and you want to identify an article about your company. So let's see. Let's see here. And then you want to add this information to Nimble. You don't have to go to Nimble from here. You can pull up the browser extension and either create the information, create the contact record for the author straight from here. So we'll be searching for their information. If that's not the same guy, you can add the contact to Nimble this way. You can make any changes basically manually. So if you want to fill any additional information, and then you can go under data fields. Under more, we find programs, publication name, Forbes, and add the article here. And then I go back and I can go to Mark's contact record inside of Nimble and make sure that it filled in. I'll do under data fields, programs, and it's here. I can click on it. Anybody in my company can quickly find it and use this information when we're pitching them again. So if people have covered us in the past, it's much more likely that they might want to cover us in the future as well. So keeping the information in one place can be really beneficial to everybody in your company. And then when we tie it back to using the segmentation with custom fields, you can just type it in here, publication name, and you can say is Forbes. So everybody that write for Forbes will pop up here, or you can search article is not empty and pull up all the list of people that have covered your company in the past, send them templated group message, and just track how they're interacting with it. So hopefully this has been helpful. I want to also make sure that you know about our upcoming webinars. So we rotate. Next week, we will be doing a general overview of Nimble and also mobile overview. The following week, we will do contact cleanup strategies. So we will show you how you can organize your database, how to clean it up and continue to keep it clean. And then the week after, we will do another general Nimble overview. You can register at nimble.com/company/webinars. You can also go, you can also keep it on your inbox, because if you're on our email list, we will continue to send invites to our upcoming webinars. And we have a special offer for new users. You can sign up today and get 30 days of Nimble for free. It's nimble.com/offer/webinar30. We will be sharing it in the follow-up email and also in the chat box today. If you're already in trial, reach out to us at care@nimble.com and we will be more than happy to extend this invitation to you. And let's see what questions have come in. So I have questions from Jennifer. How do we add birthdays to the top? I don't have that. So let me see. So let me go back to Nimble here. So I believe you're referring to configuring the table here. So when you're under contacts, you can click on configure table and basically pick the columns that you want to see and get rid of those you don't. Phone number, not important to you, get rid of it. Lead status, not important to you, you can get rid of it. And also from the fields that are important to you, you can also select the ones you will pin. So it's like freezing columns in Excel. So those I pinned, they're basically in the first fold here. So that's how you can get the birthday here. So you can completely configure it to your use case, depending on what's important to you while you're creating the search. So you can always add the specific information. So it can be publication name. If you're doing outreach to press, you can make sure that that's one of the columns you see here. And you can also change the order. So if birthday is not the one that's the most important here, maybe it's the publication name. So you can play with it this way. So hopefully that answered your first question. And your second question, I have the Nimble logo on my Outlook, but it's not active. I can't click on it. Okay, so let me go to my Outlook and let's see how we can troubleshoot. But also, you can definitely always reach out to us at care@nimble.com, and sometimes we have to do a little more digging and take a look. So if this is not doing anything when you open it up, and you have basically restarted Outlook and it's still not doing anything, you can try to basically reinstall the app and install it again. And if still is not popping up, please reach out to us at care@nimble.com and we will look into it further for you because it is supposed to be working. Christina, how can you search to delete a specific contact from an email? Emails that bounce back that you need to remove. Okay, so you can do that when using group messaging. So it would be under failed. And this way you wouldn't have the option to delete them in bulk. You would have to go through them individually. So if you've sent a group message and a bunch of emails bounced, you can, there will be a list of the emails that bounced. Let me actually see. Okay, so it's not showing here, but you would be able to go into the contact records directly and make any of the changes manually. Paul, please show us what happens when you save a list of people. Happy to. So when you're in contacts and let's say I select a group of 30 people, and I'm not sure if you meant by tagging or creating the safe segment. I'll show you both options. So when I create a tag and I tag them new clients, what happens is that you just get a notification that there has been a tag added, and you can start using the tag immediately. You can go to tags, and I'm either blind or it hasn't refreshed. So let's see. So I'll click segment search, tags, and here they are, new clients. So that's what happens when you do a tag group, but maybe you were referring to what happens when I save a safe segment. So tag is new clients, and let's say last contacted by me in the last 30 days. I want to keep an eye on all the new clients that I have recently talked to. I'm going to save it, new clients 2021, save search, and they're here. They show up on the left side of my screen, new clients, and I have the option to mark them as important and they'll pop up here. I can also share it with my team. So hopefully that helped. Paul, can you cut and paste into the body of the letter? Yes, you can. Sometimes though, it might create issues with formatting. So I would definitely send myself a test message, make sure it looks good. A good workaround is to copy and paste from like a Google Doc and remove the formatting and make sure that it looks good. So you can send test emails and ensure that there are no issues with that. Can you send to everybody in the account at a certain company? Yes, so you can come here and either select from a list of companies, and let's say, so I have, let's say this company, it has one employee, but let's pretend we have multiple. So I'll select all of them and send them a group message. Why is company not in configure table for people? Let's see. Okay, so people and company name, and that should be that. Don't think that's a custom field. Oh, let me see. So company name, I'm going to pin it and bring it. Nope, I'm bringing an incorrect one. Company name. Okay, so I see what you're talking about here. Interesting. I don't know, Paul. I will ask and we will follow up with you directly. So see, I am also learning here. So I don't know. I will ask somebody else on our team who knows, and I'll let you know. Let me see if there are other questions coming in. Yeah, I don't see any more questions popping in. If anything comes up, please let us know at care@nimble.com and we will be more than happy to answer any questions. And thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you will have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much. Bye.